Hey, good morning everybody. How are you? I'm MJ. I'm the founder of UNPLUG. UNPLUG is a spiritual lifestyle brand dedicated to spirituality, sustainability, and freedom. I'm just about to launch our third of four of a Be the Change online course series, which comprises of 4 8-week online courses that invoke higher consciousness, greater awareness, and also are just really based in functional practical change rather than too much wah woo wee woo stuff. So, and like, this is one of those channels. Hey guys, good morning, how are you? This is one of those channels, a little bit of wah woo wee woo, but also like grounded application. Did I sleep with that hat on? I do actually sometimes fall asleep with this hat on straight up, especially with the winter months. Like, my scarf is on the end of the bed, my sweater is here, and yeah, pretty much. So how does the hair look anyway? The hair's looking all right. You know, it's not, I'm not like covering for shame. It's, I just have, I just feel quite comfortable. Anyway, look at you. You asked me about my hair or hat or something and I'm off. So this specific topic is like super relevant, and I think, thanks guys. And I think like, it's amazing how, oh, cheers. It's amazing how, hey Justin, how are you? So the whole like idol and like fame and fortune and the media manipulation, it's so powerful. And I really increasingly and so obviously, thanks. And so obviously it's like when you're completely unplugged from mainstream media agenda and you don't engage with a lot of social and you're not invested in other people's stories, like life is really rather different, you know, and also the subtlety of how we use our discernment when it comes to energies we want to hang out with, when it comes to like thoughts we're thinking, programs we're running. Like when we're ultimately like if we're just in the hive mind, it just becomes that much more difficult unless we're super proactive with creating that time for ourselves, the meditation time, the yoga time, the gong bath time, whatever that sacred time is for you, even if it's just a couple minutes every day. It's the best way, I would say, to like protect yourself from the propensity to just like insects just sort of like flock to the hive, right? And so, and I guess here, as I say those words, that's what idols are for. That's what the bombardment agenda, the propaganda agenda of fame and fortune are. Fame and fortune are not real. They're not real in the way that the illusion is sold to us. There's no such thing. From respect to the idea that it's like this carrot that we're all meant to chase, like to be like our idols, to be recognition is a huge piece, because these things are all, you could say, shadow aspects, and the reason why they're propagated is because they trigger our wounds, and that's why we end up in cycles with them. That's why we're all chasing it. And I see it, I express it because like I'm super aware of it within myself, because I was in the acting industry and I was an actor, a performer, and I was pursuing that. But from my more inner, deeper awareness of like wanting the world to be a better place and wanting there to be more love and like being able to like subtly pick up on people's ego and desperation and weird insecurities and stuff, you know, the acting business was never gonna be the thing for me. Not to mention the fact that I refused to go to a McDonald's commercial because I was already a little bit of a veggie activist, and my agent was like, Mally, sometimes you're just gonna have to sacrifice the principles to make money. And I was like, I'm going to London. Psh! Like, off I go. I am not sacrificing my principle, which there again, it's like, that's like prostitution. Not that there's anything wrong. Well, there is. This is the thing. It's like, I have no judgment to people, but again, we live in a system which puts people in positions where they have to do kind of shitty shits to get ahead. It's like, that's okay. Like, I'll just have to sell my body, or I'll just have to sell my beingness to the corporation that is McDonald's so that I can pay my rent this month. Like, fuck that. And hence having enough privilege to be able to actually say fuck that. Like, that's being straight up, you know? But hence this continued plight, 17, all these years later, where I'm still inside myself addressing some of these deeper and deeper and deeper layers of the human consciousness distortion, the density, the lie that we all have to rise above, the lie that there is an external reality, that there are better people out there, that you know, the famous people and the people with all the money, they're just more important. They're just, you know, a little bit better, a little bit more special. And but it's not true. It's so effing not true. And even in the law of attraction circles, all this mumbo jumbo about like, well, if you're struggling financially, it's totally all to do. You're still unworthy. I'm like, it's not that black and white, people. Energy is fluctuating, continuous. We are going round a central sun in a binary fucking solar system. I'm like, our little quick snap judgments about exactly what's going on right here, I don't think is quite legit. And I'm getting all riled up because I'm just like, I absolutely love this space. I absolutely love you guys. I'm so grateful and thankful that I have this outlet to express this stuff. And then and then Eddie writes, I totally resonate across the leash. I'm like, this is what I mean. And you know, it's funny because one of my earliest astrological charts, only humankind is real. Only, exactly, BB, right? Yeah, in one of my astro birth charts, it actually says, hi Julie, how are you? One of my astro birth charts, it actually says in one of my, I think it's something like my Libras and Mercury, or you know how like they break down, they give you a little bit of a definition of each little alignment. And one of my alignments is legit like, you've got a really unique perspective. It would be useful if you could find a way to explain it to people. And I'm like, hi, guys, do you guys ever think like this? And I'm realizing that, and I'm like, now that y'all are appearing and we're all appearing to one another, it's like, holy shazbot, there's like a whole bunch of us, right? There's a whole bunch of us having these weird divine downloads of like love hot inspiration. And then there's a whole bunch of us watching the hive and watching group consciousness, or watching whole industries, i.e. acting, entertainment industry, or some of you are in the music industry and you're like watching the whole music industry going like, or the education system, just watching it going, what the f are we doing? And so I really, really do believe that this is just next wave, and then next wave, and then next wave. And then one of you actually asked me, based on possibly one of the intuitive readings, about like how to stay grounded, especially with these next waves of awakenings. It's like, we want to have those routines established, i.e. like I mentioned before, the meditation, I'm thinking some singing bowls, right? I saw somebody, she said, dude, I use Shazbot all the time. Shazbot. I actually used it in my recent article, my recent article submission for Badassery Unleashed. I actually used Shazbot. Hey Matthew, how are you? Right, so I'm thinking we need to anchor in those self-love practices. This is specific. This is actually in response to a comment of someone being like, help, how do I deal with all this sensitivity? If possible, embrace the self. Just be like, oh, you're gonna be a sensitive, emotional one. Might as well just drop into that and like get used to it. Just get used to feeling lots. Unashamedly, unapologetically. That's something that I'm seeing in a couple of my long-standing clients I've been working with now for a couple of years. They're now shifting into seeing how, oh my god, like my new default settings, and or holy shit, the meditation's really, like, it's really showing me how it's working, or like, oh my god, I saw this next layer of my control pattern. So it's not like the work, you know, the spiritual work is somehow like out there and then we'll hit a finish line and be done at life. I'm like, no, and again, that's what that's what our illusions, that's what the smoke and mirrors of the mainstream media, even in our spiritual circles, would have us believe. Like, just do my 30-day program and then you'll be done. That just do my, I know, use ultra love, just do my 8-week courses and then you'll be enlightened. You know, it's all this bullshitty NLP trying to manipulate people, trigger people's unworthiness to then get them to meditate until you are le juice of life, you know? I'm like, none of it's out there. And yet, oh my gosh, how easily do we get tripped up, right? Matthew, by the way, I totally did some research into, and I feel embarrassed because I can't say it. It's you call it Oshkukis and the Cetus and the Sextons. I'll need to actually watch some videos. I only read a couple articles about it and I definitely want to do it. So I might do it after this, and if I could add while we're here, you know how I'm doing the signs, and I'm going to add Matthew's Asa sign because I think quite a few of you here are actually the, I feel ridiculous, Oshipodons. I'm ridiculous. I'm not saying the right word. It starts with an O. It's the astrology. It's like the 13th sign astrology or something like that. It's ethereal. So it's signs, so it's certain humans that are born with a certain, there you go. There, look everyone. There he goes. Opiochus? A few kiss. Thank you, Matthew. I was wondering. I was like, oh, he's not going to be able to speak it to me, but because we are such a clever little bunch, by the way. I love you guys. We're all just so clever. A few kiss. Thank you. As in, you deserve a lot of hugs. A few kisses. Oh, me too, Justin. How we find each other. It is totally magical. So, and like OMG, and this could just be because of the imprint from the research I've done, but Matthew, and I'm pretty sure Rochelle as well, and actually Brazen Arrow, you leave, I'm pretty sure is a few kiss. I gotta practice that, a few kiss, and it's so relevant to the times that we're living in. Hey Juan, how are you? To the times that we're living in, and of course to this channel. So thank you, Matthew, for bringing that to the table, because I'm like, your guys's, like, the messages are a little bit more out there, like a little bit more ethereal for you guys versus the water, the fire, the air. The water, the fire, the earth, the air, and then you have this like, it's almost like these signs only come into the earth when veils are being lifted for humanity, because there's something about a few kisses that are like, I want to say anchoring in the new holographic projections, like while we're having all these like earthly like, how do I survive here, and like, or the waters might be starting to see all of this like craziness in the water, you know, the waterways, and we have these more knowable parts of ourselves, and then hola, and then we have the a few kisses. We have the, I have to practice a little bit. We have these slightly even more otherworldly beings who are bringing in energies from different dimensions. It's kind of like that. That's how I feel into it. Oh, sidestep. Let's just have coffee shots. So yeah, like sidestep away from the seriousness of the fact that we're destroying our planet and the masses are being blinded by Taylor Swift. I'm like, come on, what is happening? But sidestep, because I wanted to talk to you guys about something totally normal. So yesterday, I decided that I just had no inspiration to do anything. I'm still premenstrual, so all I wanted to do was sleep. So I slept a heck of a lot. But in between my sleepy grogginess, I logged onto Netflix and somebody, like a really close friend slash accountant or something, because I don't know if you guys know, like I have like 3 besties and they're all like either my photographer or my copy editor or my accountant. So I'm meeting up and like, and then she mentions this, oh yeah, she mentioned something called the OA, and it obviously, she said something about it. Either way, it doesn't matter because I really don't watch much external stuff, but I really didn't want to be on YouTube during my downtime, so I went onto Netflix. And then this OA pops out, and then I look, and so as I was exiting watching any really mainstream stuff, I watched a fantastic movie called The East. Hi, magic people. I believe it's called The East. And there was another movie that I watched at the time, and it was with this absolute badass goddess called Brit Marling. So Brit Marling, as far as I can tell, is a writer, actor, director, producer. So she's in it, but I feel like she's like one of us. Right, Brit, look, magic person. Brit, she rules, right? I feel like she's an intuit. I feel like she's an empath. And in her creative essence, just creating these like, so like her character in the OA is representative of the empaths who are like, guys, we lost the connection. We forgot. And like, we're all like popping into this reality from like different dimensions, being like, guys. Yeah. So 100% one of us. Booyaka Shaw. I'm like, I know. And it's like my intuition picks up on other vibrashe from celebrities that I'm like when you don't resonate, when you're really not feeling it, and you're like, you can see the egoic projection of falseness, and you're just like, you know, and then others, and I feel basically it's just to do with the content that she creates and produces and puts out there. I just completely align with it. So I am now like a normal human, just watching, like binge watching. I watched 1.5 episodes, or not even a half. Anywho, but I've now got this program, and I'm really quite looking forward to watching an episode or two during my downtime every day. So yeah, Brit Marling is a guys, could I just point out the title of this share is about idol worship, and here I am worshipping my fucking idol of the you know, the entertainment. Anywho, but you know what I mean. But it's not like that. It's like a respect. It's not like I'm a less than person just because I like the content she produces. I'm like, respect from another content creator to another. But let's be honest, there's a lot of shazbot. There's a lot of shazbot out there in the world. So like when you find a good program like the OA, you're like, guys, guess what? There's one with a stay disillusioned. Thanks, Mike. But then like it's one of those where I'm like, I don't think she's a bot. I don't think she's an AI. I think there's genuine humans still floating about the Hollywood industry. They've just managed to push the creativity through rather than get caught up in the bullshit of you know, like idol worship and stuff. I watched the OA, and you're not really missing out. At least I didn't get hooked, even though I went through the whole first season. C1, you got through the whole first season. I'm only in the first episode, and I started watching the second. I was like, yeah. So no, it's probably not like The American Office, which I quite easily could watch like probably 3 or 4 episodes when I was binging on that like 5 years ago. But I might be able to get through like an episode and just enjoy this story. Oh, hi Kurt, how are you? Kurt, I'm thinking of you. For some reason I feel like there's still some stuff to go over, but nice one for being here. I'm just getting a little bit of a flash of a download around some emails. Oh, thank you guys so much for your vegan input. Deliciously Ella, Beyond Meat, one of you put a YouTube channel, Beyond Meat. So this is fantastic for the new course that I'm launching at the end of the month, Getting Better. Yes, Kurt, well done, buddy. it's a nice feeling, is it, to finish. I finished my article for Badass Unleashed, and I've got loads of writing to do these next 2 days. I thought it had something there, but then on the last episode, I was left with a big poker face. One, interesting. But then there again, I'm like, yeah. Maybe it's not what I'm thinking about, but it's nice to have the odd program that's more out there. 2 projects left. Nice, Kurt. I'm down. I've got to finish Ultra Vegan Love, and then I've just got my Unplug for Freedom. And I feel like this is the first summer in my life where I'm actually just gonna enjoy myself. I've teaching Team Love is going to Wonderfields, so that's myself, and then Jen and Katie are just friends of mine. And you know, Katie and I worked on Zenville Zero Waste together. Kurt, I feel like it's probably more to do with an ongoing conversation that we will just continue to have, basically. Sensate, though. Damn, mind blown. I love the mind blown effect. That's kind of my this is like another angle to this channel, is like, I am somebody who on the reg, so like just yesterday, I'm pretty sure I was having a nap, and then there was like lucidity moments. So like there's like for real lucid dreaming moments where I'm like, I'm aware that I'm in my body, but I'm like, but it's not just my body. But then I'm aware of being in this infinite space portal of like, I don't, see, one cannot describe in words some of these kind of lucid human experiences. But there again, I think more and more and more and more and more of us are like having these experiences, and then we have to like well, not, I mean, let's put clothes on, it can be distracting otherwise, but like, we have to like, you know, put our suits on and then like go like squeeze ourselves back into this 3D reality and pretend like we're not having these like really weird experiences in this life, in this body, right? So, okay, back to the topic. So idols, fame and fortune, and the media manipulation. I'm like, we have to realize that the propagated idolatry, or like how we're constantly given a new star and these people and da-da-da-da, they really are, regardless of kind of how conscious they are, puppets. Like this is weird, right? But in a way we all are. Like we're all, until we're really vibrating and moving into that 0 point event horizon energy of the unity self, which I actually do feel a lot of us are anchoring into that. Otherwise we wouldn't be connected. We wouldn't be vibrating and meeting even on these channels, right? So these new energies are slowly being anchored in. It's just, I guess maybe it's useful for us to be, those of us kind of floating on the outside, to share and discuss, okay? Like, because I feel like on a collective level, we're like, it's like us reaching back into the hive to be like, hey guys, like you don't have to be exhausted all the time. You don't have to be frazzled all the time. Your mind is powerful. You don't have to give your mind's power to that hive, to that world out there. And we forget that there's still like this stuff, even though we might have found out about law of attraction at some really high vibrational concert or conference, or, you know, we read some amazing books, or we've got some buddies who are really into it or whatever, and that we've really lifted and raised ourselves up. And yet it can be quite a shock sometimes when we like turn back and face the world, or we find ourselves in a situation, or you know, we're looking at a part of our town or country or what have you, and it's like, what is going on? Like the world that we were sold is like breaking apart and breaking down. And certainly in the UK, and this has been the legit flow or observation since probably 2013. But like when I would go, and this is dominantly like the smaller towns, like rural, non-urban areas, but they're just bedding shops, charity shops, and then high street corporate labels. Like there's, and then that signals back to me that like the average normal humans now in the UK, they can't afford to rent buildings for business, you know? Movies aren't that good. I'm reading Matthew's thing. Movies aren't that good anyway. I'm kind of with you, Matthew, anymore. It's all superheroes and sequels and remakes of 20-year-old classics. Nothing original, at least not in Hollywood, right? And I gotta say, I think that's why I really dig on Brit Marling. Again, I've only watched like 1 or 2 of her movies, but I really enjoyed them. And they had this like edginess that was not so Hollywood. I think more, and that's why I think a lot of us might gravitate or might kind of come across. Yeah. So the interesting, I think those both comments, Matthew and Kurt, I totally like resonate with. So there is less authentic creative inspiration that we obviously get bombarded with. So there's clearly some kind of obvious distractor agenda energy going on, because it's just superhero fantasy remakes and sequels. So there's no original, there's nothing kind of original coming out, right? I mean, and me too. I think that's, you know, that is a piece, Hollywood and some of these big Marvel comic things or whatever. There's one potentially quite an inspirational story, and 2, just, yeah, blind, pure entertainment. Why not? Nothing wrong with that, right? At the same time, like, to be able to discern and to be able to turn Hollywood programs off if we're not enjoying it. Maybe not all the movies are that good, right? So there's a lack of inspirational, authentic creativity being churned out on the mass propagated level. However, that, pardon me, you guys, that authenticity, that whatever we're talking about, that kind of gritty entertainment, the Brit Marlings and more types of people like that, are creating more. And it's not necessarily, and I gotta say, I'm curious about what your guys' feelings are. Yeah, the idea of what a hero is changing. Interesting. I was just asking for your guys' like Netflix. So Netflix, the one thing that I'm maintaining respect for about Netflix is that, like, there's still no what I want to say, advertising. There's no ads on Netflix. And what I'm noticing is, like, even this The OA show that I'm watching, I'm pretty sure it's one of those Netflix originals. So I feel as though that there's these little, like, inserts that people like the Brit Marlings are kind of getting through via the Netflix, or via, I guess I want to say, more of the free web. The companies that aren't selling their souls to the devil himself, basically. It's basically companies that actually believe in upholding the authenticity of people's creative expression and the truth and the freedom of that, right? And so I have a feeling Netflix is like that, but you never know. Things can always change around. I actually think that the entertainment industry is realizing that people are trying to connect more deeply with their own emotions, and companies like Netflix are trying to catch up with that. Boom, 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 boom. There we go. One. I'm sure in one of your messages you're like, yeah, I totally resonate. So, okay, cool. Then you guys feel that as well. And because I never know. I sometimes can feel a bit behind on that stuff, or like just put my hands up and be like, I don't know. I really don't have that level of awareness when it comes to company dealings. But basically, some of the Netflix original stuff that they're putting out there, I just think is bang on for the times that we're living in. Plus, there's no advertising, which don't you love that? Like, don't you love when you can watch something and not be trying to be sold? Okay, and then this is flipping it over to even all of this online stuff, because let's be honest, I love no advertising, right? They capitalize, and fictions representing human potentials are where we could go. Absolutely. The media is the message. Marshall McLuhan, right? Yes, you guys. Precise. There's no right or wrong. It's not bad or good, but it's just for those of us rising consciously and potentially unplugging from the matrix source, plugging into universal source instead, that we can be aware of those shades and those angles and those potential distractions that lead us away. And I guess because I put myself and my brand out there, and because I was like in acting industry, and like certainly my small town, blah blah blah, how I grew up, there was like it's still like this slight wound inside, but there's this such unworthiness that it's like, unless you're like some big famous movie star, you're just a big pile of shit. So there's this weird binary of like deep unworthiness and deep not enoughness by looking at the idols. But the deeper I go in my own self-love and acceptance, the more I'm like, who cares about those people? Like, why do we? They're just people who shit and piss and pick their zits just like just like all humans. And then it weirds me out that there's these certain humans that play sport real good or act in movies that make these gargantuan salaries, and we all just blindly accept that as like, yep, they're super important for making, and it's not to like put them down, but it's more about the disparity. It's more about the fact that I personally believe that the men and women cleaning our streets and keeping our streets clean, because I don't know if you've ever lived through a fucking trash strike where the bin men don't want to clean the streets. You're like, fuck, that's a really valuable service those people provide. And they probably make a livable amount, don't they? But it's like, gee whiz, I think the value that people cleaning up the streets provide are just as valuable as the people who act in movies. Oh, wait. Let's be like the people on the front line fighting our wars, who then when they get sent back home, they're just left. You know, I'm like, holy shit, we could be using, you know, where the billionaires and trillionaires are hoarding all of their assets on some fucking island somewhere, or the celebrities who are like, I don't know, my mansion's not big enough here. It's like, who fucking cares about those people? Why don't we direct our attention on the people who are actually giving of self, giving of service? Like, I would love just one day for a bin man or a bin woman, or someone who just has like one of the shittiest jobs on the planet but does it with humility and love, that person for one day should make the same amount as Courtney Cox did recording a series of Friends, which I'm pretty sure they made something like $1 million per episode. I'm like, imagine just your humble bin man making $1 million per day. You know, not even an episode, just a day of cleaning up some streets. I'm like, we could live in a more just society. And that brings me to, there's the Kurt Mill piece as far as, what's it called, dude? Resource-based economy. But then you can see that we can only vision and create the resource-based economy when we're not invested in trying to steal from one another and like power over each other and like pretend to be something we're not, which is one. Like, we're all one and connected in this life on Earth, but we're all trying to pretend like we're not. And we've been trying to pretend like we're not for millennia. And then more and more of us, what did we call ourselves before? Oh, I could just say, the Jedis of Light. Amen, sister. Lack manifests. It absolutely does. And this is where we, you know, we talk about the education system. It's like, we see it, and we see it in our cities, we see it everywhere, where people are bottoming out because they've not, we as a collective have not been taught the base tone, or like, I'm thinking of just the foundational, like, hence this idea of the divine feminine healing or rising. It's like, we need to up-level en masse our like self-love and self-care and self-respect. Like, this is something as well that knowing I was born of privilege, and yet weird disparity in angles, is that the privilege I was born into was still like, I was less privileged than all these like millionaire, billionaire families, weirdly, but like I knew I was still privileged. But then but then all throughout these last like 15, 17 year cycle of traveling around the world, I started to see, God, people in privilege in the UK, they don't necessarily live like my privilege, you know, like these are hoarders or people who don't clean up after themselves, or you know, like just different standards of life, and like, or like, you know, pretty well-to-do business owners, and then like I'd go to their house and yeah, it would just be a fucking mess, and I just think, wow, like we're all so busy and distracted and that we can't even just look after our own house. Oh look, oh wait, and now I'm thinking of our bodies. this is where the simplicity of yoga, meditation, and just eating whole food. It's like we even forgot how to look after our bodies. We bought into this program. We bought into this paradigm of your body is sick and diseased, and you're gonna get colds every fucking few months and flus, and you're gonna pick up disgusting germs from all the other kids, and your body is weak, and you're a sinner, and you're just a disgusting, greedy human being. Now just stay there, but fantasize about being like these fancy celebrity people, which we're just gonna continually bombard you with these images of them to make you feel worse and worse and worse until we just literally are in a numbed out state of complacency, which is, I would say, and this might, we're all vibrating on our different timeline portals, right? But like the apathy and the complacency, and I know it might seem really bad to some people, but I swear to God, and this is the legit truth, the apathy and the complacency around the world was actually much worse 15 years ago. Now, there's still a huge belt of ignorance, clearly, of blindedness, but there's rising. There is rising. There is definitely rising happening. Otherwise, we wouldn't be here. We wouldn't be having this conversation. It just would not happen. Paul Selig's Paul Selig's series is so good. What's it about? Or message it. Can you message it to me, maybe? There's a few things. I've got a book. So when I finish Vegan Love, I'm going to be like reading and going for walks. Oh yeah, and I'm doing some local yoga for the community because the online entrepreneurship is just a tad too isolating. Plus I feel that like I'm being guided for actual like community here. Anywho, one of you, by the way, have left a Steiner. Rudolf Steiner is a book that is here, but I could send it back as well. There's a book called Shock Doctrine, Naomi Klein. She's a feminist writer, theorist. It doesn't need to be feminist. She's just a female writer. But the reason I know of Naomi Klein and Naomi Wolf, they're two different academicians and writers, political theorists or potential philosophers or whatever. Anyway, Naomi Klein has a book called Shock Doctrine. So there's 3 books by Joseph Campbell that I've got lined up to read, and then there's the Shock Doctrine. They're all a little bit like dense or thick, you could say, so it might take a bit of time to read, but I'm having the month of April to kind of like read and do other things rather than just be kind of working online and writing courses for you guys. They're still confused about what we can do or whether something can be done to change, but at least they're aware and not denying. There. And then hence that's more and more and more of us, and like it's like there's a whole bunch of humans way out in front of us, right? That we're like that we've kind of hooked into and can follow that trail, right? And then and then that trail is getting bigger and pulling in more humans, and then that trail is getting bigger and pulling in humans. But there seems to be this sort of process, like what Kurt just said about people are awakening. Like this movement is happening, but let's all be honest with it. There is this sort of like this sort of process we go through. One of them is that when we in the early stages of awakening, and I'm talking potentially the first few years of these veils being lifted and having this new awareness and going, whoa, my thoughts create my reality, holy shit, what am I thinking? Or what, my emotions are actually important? You fucking dicks, you told me my emotions were useless. You know, so many of us, one, there can be a whole bunch of anger and like emotion that just like starts to rise to the surface, and you're just like, fuck you, world, for being an asshole and lying to me for so long. But then you have to drop deeper and go, why have I created this? If I'm the creator of my reality, if you continue to go on that train, why have I created this? Then you start to pivot the veils, and you start to connect it, and then you're like, well, my vibration is all connected everywhere, right? And then eventually you align with more thought leaders. You align with more tribes that are change makers. You align with people who are writing essays about global citizenship and resource-based economy, because there are solutions. And then actually, once you're starting to focus more on the solution stuff, and once you start to align yourself with your own creative purpose, which then really helps us to step away from the enslavement system, because our creative energy is focusing on delivering the output of source, right? And really all of us in alignment here have regardless of our placement on the planet, what is happening from within is that regenesis, because we're digging in, because we're attuning to higher self, because we're clearing and honoring the memory, the backlog, what have you. We are stepping into this creative purpose energy regardless of where we are. And of course a lot of us have key placements within the systematic illusion because of the ripple effect our enlightenment can bring, and or our awakening, our voice, whatever. It's really just our vibration, what our vibration is emitting and putting out. And the clearer we become, i.e. the more protected, the more you protect yourself, the it doesn't matter, because you're already doing it. It's already done. I've always been someone who puts a lot of pressure on myself, so increasingly so, I'm aware of not making us feel like we have to do more and be more light-filled and put more pressure on the self to achieve the enlightenment of the planet. It's like, oh my God, that's... Oh, and that's another piece about awakening, is that I know for me, a lot of the polarity that I have to swim in is just my own ego. So like a lot of times I'd have these beautiful awakening experiences, and then I'd go through this cycle, and then I'd look back and be like, yeah, because you learned the information which was beautiful and divine, and you used it to massage your ego and think you were better than everybody. And I'm like, and so then that doesn't help us, does it? And in fairness, actually, as I say that, I'm aware of how, oh look, what we've done in our spiritual circles is just create more idol worship. And I'm saying this because I'm aware of it in all the well-being industry. I once worked at a place where the co-director was like, oh, we're gonna make so-and-so famous. So-and-so is gonna be a celebrity yogi. I'm like, oh, is that a job? Is that a new job title for yoga teachers? Famous yoga teachers or celebrity yoga teachers? But of course it was all for profit. It was all like, well, if we have so-and-so type of clients, our business will be da-da-da-da-da. And then I started to realize, wow, holy shiz. So really people are just wanting to we just want to fucking overlay yoga practice or overlay well-being or overlay the vegan well-being stuff to just, once again, mask the fact that we live in a really corrupted, all of us trying to follow those rules, whether it's doing yoga or doing blah, 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 it's all still just like feeding back into that same enslavement system, unless it's not. And I say these things and I'm not exactly, I don't even exactly know where I am with all of that, other than the fact that every day, every encounter, working with you guys, there's like new insights, new awarenesses. Here I'm hearing again the blood and water piece. The blood and water is fucking huge, and yet, and there I'm hearing it's like something to do with our emotions as well. The blood and water connectivity. That's something to do with the women, hello, being responsible for reclaiming their cycles, but then sharing the wisdom from non-ego, obviously. We're unifying the two. Men and women are coming together like never before as well. And I don't, and again, like a lot of the times when I'm just like channeling this stuff, it's like I'm not even sure what I'm saying. It's just coming out. I agree with you, but I do still think that humanitarian competition is better at creating the next iteration of our society than the rugged individualistic competition. I agree, and I think that is actually a correct insight as far as and it's so relevant, dude, because I was actually sitting with that sense of I'm sure I was having some random thought about it. Hi, telepathy. But it's like I'm naturally a competitive person. It's why I tended to fall away from competitive sport, because I was one of the kids on the field hockey team that when I would get really riled up, I'd be there like, boom, like hitting the other girls on the road to get the goal. And I would put an intense amount of pressure on myself. So enter professional dance and yoga. So my mom got me into dancing and yoga versus the sport, because I'd come home with bruises everywhere or black eyes, or I'd come home in tears being like, I just want to give up. And my mom's like, maybe group competitive sport isn't for you, sweetheart. Because like, I don't know, it's like, maybe that's why drinking, I was never like a social drinker. I would drink and then black out, or or have to not drink, right? And like, and then, but it was in sport of noticing, I'm like, there's a healthy level of us stepping up. It was like I wasn't going to just stop at publishing the book. I then it was like, but I didn't force this. It was just miraculous. Like, and then the Zenful Zero Waste, and then the having these things to offer, is that we have to, I would say that's part of our point of attraction naturally as humans. That's the weird binary of this living in a deny the emotion, deny our truth, because our desires is one, I would say, almost the sole reason we actually are here and we exist. So desires are a good thing. And then two, but not if we thwart them, and then not if we deny them. And then what was it? Humanitarian competition. And then the desire really is what I would say healthy competition is, because it's my desire to show more, share more, right? And that's a big piece to invoke and embody that level of benevolence, which I think is really much more in alignment with the truth of this planet and the truth of this universe. It's this ever so benevolent, never-ending giving energy, and then weirdly we all disconnected, put ourselves outside of ourselves, and then have been chasing our tails ever since, looking for ourselves, not realizing we just have to bring it back here. It's like, it's very head messy. Like, it's certainly when we're really locked into that linear perspective, right? When we're really locked into like, this is how the reality works, and I am a robot of the reality, and everyone else is a robot. And then things like shake us out, and we're like, oh, I'm not that robot at all. I am gonna swing on back, look at your chats, you guys. Oh my gosh, Uncle Ben. One, I'm sure I have a quote. I have a quote in the Fearless Life Guide. I quote, patience, learn you must. So I quote Yoda, I quote Gandalf, I quote Uncle Ben from, is it Superman, right? I quote Uncle Ben from Superman, same. With great power comes great responsibility. It's legit. And I think that's why our ego gets washed clean perpetual. I'm just talking from my personal experience. It's like every lesson is some kind of ego death. Like, you are not that special. I'm like, I know. And then there's just like pure heart love vibrashe, where I'm like, okay, I'm still alive. I'm still breathing. And I've still got something to give because the heart is here, regardless of like, you know, how much money I have. Kurt Mill, responsibility, precisely, your ability to choose. Booyakasha, there it is. Spider-Man, Uncle Ben, thank you. Yeah, I don't know my comics as well as I should. XG communicate or competition doesn't have to be win-lose. It can be win-win. Right. This is my perspective. Exactly. I'm like, can't we do it so we all win? But this is the thing about the love vibrashe and the oneness vibrashe, is that truly, when we're coming from that oneness, that unity self, it's like, of course it's a win-win. You want everyone to win, except it's like, and I'm just at a point where I'm discerning the energies of people that they might say they want you to win, but that's not what their energy is putting out there, right? And so if people's energy, if their behavior is putting out something different, it's my responsibility to highlight that and make decisions accordingly, but still be in love, still like love people. Just let go of the grievance. Just let go and be like, okay, they're at a different point in their journey, but their energy is destructive or hurtful or painful or limiting or controlling or whatever. True, Kurt, we are the ones who determine the nature of our experience in this life and beyond. Hi, Matthew. Interesting. Well, and I mean, in fairness, Matthew, I'd have to say that that's also kind of your feeling sense, I would say, is really tied into this whole share around what was the word you used? Collude. Like, and I love that. Or and I don't even know exactly what it means, but it's something like they co-op. They kind of take us away from the fire, from our ability to be active and activists, right? Fun entertainment, sure, you know, there is that. I don't particularly, can't remember the last, I feel like it was a weird one that I watched last, like Ant-Man with Paul Rudd. But I mean, there is always this double edge here. Like, okay, yeah, aren't we lucky? We get to watch all this entertainment stuff. But so our generation, and this is something I remember at university in abstract theory lecture, was like, we're talking about this media, we're talking about this, yeah, and this is 2003, so this is before all of the social media stuff really took off. But I can remember in that class raising my hand and being like, yeah, but how do we know? I'm 80s babies, like we're that kind of first generation where we grew up watching TV. We were not ever born in these bodies, in this planet, without these screens and this MK Ultra, whatever. We don't know any different. So our ability to discern, and hence why increasingly I'm feeling like I gotta unplug. I gotta fucking unplug for real. And I mean, like, not see or touch or look at my phone for days, chunks of days of a time to reattune. And this is the service. This is like the channeling of the service of a direct line of connection. Oh, and stay right there, guys. Stay right there. Look what I got. And now I've put them all around my house, and I actually have a feeling that they're gonna help my, it smells quite chemically, and I'm pretty sure actually when you do it when you make it yourself in the process, it's a little bit toxic actually, weirdly. But this is the argon or aragonite. This is like the stuff that you make to help harmonize like the shitty frequencies from anything, which again, I'm like, they arrived yesterday and I was like, oh, wicked. And it can just be placebo, but I swear to God, my whole house felt really much clearer and lighter. And I slept like a baby. I just slept and slept and slept yesterday. So I don't know. It could definitely be doing something. So I got like, actually I got 6 of these little things, and I've got them in different placements, like all around. My place here is like 4 stories. So I've got one on like each level, and then like on kind of opposite angles. So my home environment is very, very clear now. We'll see. We'll see. You know, who knows what you buy into, what you don't, right? Regardless of placebo, they can just be symbolic makers too. Yeah, exactly. Dior Deadly Organ Radiation Buster. Sweet. Okay, so you guys are all up on it. You know what it is, don't you? Again, my accountant friend, we were gonna make this. Oh, did you do an April report? I did. Kurt, you have to go, it's 4 videos down, my friend. It's called Collective Intuitions. I think it's just titled April. But what I've started for this month is, and I still want to do a few kisses. At the beginning of each month, and or like very end of the previous month, I'm going to do like a specific channel intuitive reading just for fire signs, earth signs, water signs, whatever the other one is. Air and ether. So I'm gonna just do intuitive updates for each sign and the monthly update. So but Kurt, it's not like right below. It would be 4 or 5 videos below, even though I actually did it yesterday on April 1st. So I did the April update. But you're gonna have to scroll down a little bit further. I can share the April update as well, my friend. Similar themes, but a little bit more fiery activity. That's the gist of it, right? Gotcha. Okay, cool. Your intentions. Oh, thank you, Juan. Thank you for the reminder. That's a really nice, that is a really nice one. Thank you. I love how I'm like, on the channel, like, you guys all teach me perpetch. So it's like this, I'm like charging it. It's my intention, right? Hi, JK. I want to say Chris. Kanamanachia. And I still, if that is you, I still have on my phone is recording me right now. Call mode. Yes, Kanamanachia. I still have pardon me, and I'm being fully honest, transparent, I don't do the 1 o'clock meditation every single day, but I have the call mode on my phone. So I'm with you guys in a sense. The call mode is going off every day around 1 o'clock, 13:13, right? Right. Okay, I think that's it, you guys. Thank you so much. Yes, I did do the April Hi Viralis TV Buster regardless of the placebo. Yeah, so I do it when I do, right? Matthew, yeah, I really feel that as well, and I think this is part of this share, is that everything that in like 99% of what the Hollywood machine is propagating is weirdly a disservice. As much as there's entertainment value in some of it, and as much as there's talent from the actors and all the worker bees who are creating these productions, far too much of what is being sold to the masses, i.e. propagated, i.e. bombarded onto the masses, there is actually an underbelly agenda, which this is where people don't want to face. This is where more and more people are having either angry uprisings or cognitive dissonance, because people, it's almost too much of a shock to wrap our head around the ugliness and or the underbelly of this like world that we were all sold and that we've all been trying to like squeeze ourselves into, and we're realizing the game is up. That's not it. And then we have to start getting naked and running around in fields to try to heal. It's like straight up. Let's just go skinny dipping in freshwater lakes and try to remember our innocence. Please, for the love of God, let us remember our innocence. I think because we are all innocent, but holy jazz, I'm just like, what is that? What is the hive mind, you guys? I feel it and I hear it sometimes, but I'm just like, And also, when I'm joking about it, but like it's legit true, because like the more in love and unity that we are, it's like our, yeah, right? I'm down for naked field running and lake swimming. I'm like, who isn't? Who isn't? But then I'm like, I don't know, other hive mind people could be like, you guys are disgusting. I'm like, ah! I'm like, you need one of these. Yeah, like we are free. We just fucking forgot. And like, this is us just working out our freedom break again. So that we can be the light for others. And like, that's what I was saying, was like the heart love really is that the hive and like where some humans are kind of directing energy, but I don't blame them, because there's this blindness veil that we all get born into. And so it's like, how can we just hold space, but also continue to pioneer our own freedom? Freedom is like the juice. I did an article for Badassery Unleashed about freedom. And again, it kind of ties into all of this. But basically, it's like one of those things of be your own star of your own movie, and that way you won't have a desire to worship idols, you know? Miguel, you don't have to be naked. It's a joke, you know? It's such a joke. And like, in fairness, like that's the kind of stuff that I'm proud of myself for getting to the far to joke around about that, because even as much as like, I think, okay, final story and then I'll wrap her up, but I did Camino de Santiago de Compostela. So it's the pilgrimage walk that St. James did, apparently. And I did that clothing optional. Exactly. Thank you. And it's like the ayahuasca ceremony I did. Everyone is naked during the, not everyone, but most everyone was totally buck naked when we went into the sweat lodge. I was not. So, Miguel, I'm like one of you, where I kept my bikini on. I didn't want to be naked. Sorry, guys. I just ran out of data. Hopefully this is still the same stream, but look, if it's not me cutting myself down, then the YouTube will do it for me. And that sounded like negative, but like I don't mean it negative. I just, you know, we're all just learning at this life thing, and like I'm at a phase of my life where I'm learning a whole bunch of new lessons, and it's like humbling, but at the same time like, oh, I gotta really sort that out, don't I? Like I gotta really look at that, don't I? So you know, I'm just here loving you guys and also appreciating you guys, because it's, well, you get this, it's like we're here for each other. It's not like this channel would be anything at all if you guys weren't here receiving and sharing the broadcast. So like utmost love and appreciation for you guys. I get a feeling of you. I sometimes think I can remote view some of you, like in your rooms or in your places of work or in your homes, and increasingly I think telepathy and remote view is pretty powerful stuff, so it's interesting to kind of attune to that and link into that and remember like we can feel each other being connected on the ethereal. So thank you guys so much for being here. I love it. Guys, we've turned a very wholesome share into an X-rated share about getting naked everywhere. Oh, I'd be interested in you talking about that. Talking about what? What did I miss? I feel like I missed something, Kurt. Can you add, just before I sign off, add what you mean by that? What would be good? This is, guys, this is how en flow I am. It's like, I don't even remember what I said. What did I say I would talk about? Getting naked? Oh, remote viewing. Boom, boom, boom. Thanks, you guys. Oh, you guys are geniuses of life. But then, think of it, the unity vibrashe is that actually all of us in our singular entities are like invoking the God consciousness of genius. But then we're linking in with other genius minds, which are helping us to be extra geniuses. Remote viewing. Okay, I'm gonna put that down as another share and a few kisses. I still have to get used to saying that. I clearly can't do a share just yet, but Matthew, I gotta say, a few kisses are definitely special and well welcomed into the Zodiac family, because without you guys, we wouldn't be doing this bridge thing. We wouldn't be doing this whole spiritual awakening thing if we didn't have beings who were kind of behind the veil a little bit. Miguel, no, I know exactly. This is where I'm like, we gotta be extra discerning with all this kind of stuff. But it's only something that's come into my awareness in the last week or so. The Sensate is about collectively unity and clusters of empaths. It's 8 show. Okay, I'm gonna look into that. Thank you. We're a weird bunch for sure. You know, it's funny that, Matthew, as well, because like, okay, it's all just like words and labels, but I'm like, I look at the hive and go, man, those people, they got like, they're choosing one weird reality where I'm like, we choose just to be a little bit more open-hearted and open-minded, which feels much better. And this is where I get the affirmation from you guys, is that, okay, we might be awakening. Okay, we might be going through this weird sense of like breaking free from normality, and then we go through this whole phase of like, we're fucking crazy, we're so weird, we're so out there. But I swear to God, in our lifetime, there will be a shift that we see on the physical plane that makes all this stuff a hell of a lot less weird. Because if the lids don't explode, we're all just gonna implode. I don't even know what I'm saying, but yeah, I will talk more about the remote viewing. All of this stuff, the lucidity and the multidimensionality, there's always got to be a bit of groundedness, right? Weird is good. Hell yeah. Juan, I think that's the thing as well. Like, holy cow, aren't we so weird? And I'm like, yeah, weird is the way for sure, because it's only since I've totally embraced my own weirdness that I'm like, I don't actually feel weird or uncomfortable, although we have cycles, but like for the overall, I'm a like 100% way happier human being here now today than I was when maybe I was more successful in the world or more, I don't even know. I can't even, like, I don't even recognize that person anymore. In truth, I just know that I was masked to shit and deeply, deeply in suffering patterns. And it's taken quite a few cycles of release to get to this point where I'm like, what? Take it or leave it. You know, and it's so liberating, my friends. Jane is Jayne. If the lids aren't going to explode, we're going to implode. Thank you, Kurt. I love that. I had somebody quote me years ago saying, like, I'm the star of my own movie, so why would I need to be a movie? I don't know, something like that. And I was like, yeah. Jennifer Smith, accept it, my friend. It's like the way to be. Think of like all the weirdos in our history that wouldn't have made history unless they let themselves be the weirdos that they are. You know, like I'm pretty sure hanging out with certain big revolutionary leaders, you know, they weren't necessarily partying with the masses. They were hanging out with few little people having discussions about how to lead the revolution. Like, let's let our weirdness shine the light for our brothers and sisters who are blinded by their own ignorance. Okay, you guys? Interesting. Oh, you guys. Hey, Omega. Omega, I just saw you there, my friend. Yep, absolutely. By the way, future talk, fiction and entertainment. Okay, thank you. So, remote viewing, another future discussion, and the future of the entertainment and fiction. Future of entertainment and fiction. Omega, I really like that. I get called weird daily. I'm gently, slowly, and you guys are definitely helping, but I'm really embracing it now. I'm accepting, you know, and it's even little reminders because I made quite a move. Hi, Lori. I made quite a move, even in the well-being world, in the yoga world, and it's my mom weirdly who like reminds me. She's like, oh honey, you've gone way too out there for most of those people. So like, and because I'm having, as the kind of little innocent empath girl, I'm going, nobody likes me, nobody wants to support me anymore. And she's like, no, it's not that, they just don't. It's like literal cognitive dissonance of like, but you're a yoga teacher, you bend your body around, like you're supposed to be there. And so when anyone in our conventional, normal, weekly grind reality, when they step out and they do something that we don't quite understand, they often don't even know how to support us. It's like they don't even know how to see us anymore because they're like, no, you're this, not that or this, you know? They can't place the new box kind of thing. Oh, my friend, it is. It is. And that's like, I feel that. At least like we have each other and being able to talk about this stuff fairly regularly, right? I get called as being from another planet and ahead of my time. Same. I've been called things like a space cadet and, yeah, just weirdo. Or just totally, people have been like, Molly, you're talking crazy talk. And I'm like, okay. Like, now I can just be like, they couldn't expand their mind to where I was going. And I'm like, there's nothing wrong with me for that. But I guess we're still the few, you know? I know, and this is what I want to continue to permission and more and more and more and more. Is that I had a download a couple of years ago, knowing that Ultra Love was actually a movement for like the next generation kind of thing. I love my generation, and I love we all, obviously we have massive love for our parents and our grandparents in that generation, but usually the more cycles we live in a body on a life path, that we get more and more locked into the conscious or conceptual framework that we were sold, right? So making huge leaps, although I would never, like, I know people who made leaps in their late 50s or what have you, so it really isn't an ageist proclamation here. I just know intuitively, because of how linearity works, that at the age that I'm at and my energetic point of attraction, that this is a movement for the next wave coming through, right? To continue to permission light workers to stay in their light, to continue to permission people to step away from toxic anything, friends, family, work environments, to continue to permission and shine light back to people who are awakening. And that's where I can reflect back to us all that it might not in any way look like what we were sold leadership looks like, but I know that if we're all resonating and understanding one another, we're leaders of the new. We're leaders of this new paradigm because we feel it. Thus we are it. Thus we are making it manifest in our own unique way through our function. Nice. Oh, thanks, Kurt. Thank you. Matthew. Well, I appreciate that there's some juicy crew of us that can all vibe. And then your guys' insights are hella useful to me. This is only something I'm learning over these last couple years, that we're all not akin to kind of linking our brains this way. And I appreciate a comment like that. You know, you've got to breadcrumb it out. And I think that's probably why I have such a, like, just share every day. Just keep sharing and see what comes through. Okay. So my phone is going to cut out on me, but I love you guys. I appreciate you so much. Keep commenting and sharing, and, you know, I get a sense that some of you have actually shared the channel with like a friend or here and there, because sometimes there seems to be this, well, either way, we're all linking in, aren't we? Peace, everybody. Lori, see? And this is why I can't do an ageist thing, because it's impossible. And Lori, I'm gonna close it here for sure, but Lori, I can say as well, that's what happened in my family, where my mom basically completely dissolved her past paradigm life at 2012, so she would have been like 59, 56, 59, or 50, sorry, you're 56, 59, sells a house and heads into total transformation. So no, Ulta Love is for all the lovers, but I see it also as a legacy that can continue to usher the rainbow crystal children that are here to really make manifest just a higher consciousness civilization. Anyway, I'm still talking, but you know that I love you guys, and I'm just wishing you a mega hard love vibrashe day. Virtual hugs. Virtual hugs. Yeah, Kurt, that's what I mean. I feel you, is that I just know because of you guys that this next generation, we're in good hands. You know, you guys are woke, basically, and my hair is crazy. Yeah, the young ones are already woke, and then a whole bunch of us at different indigo cycles are all waking up, right? And then Lori's like, and we got to be grateful for everyone who came before, because that is the legit truth. I'm like, if it weren't for every decade, every generation, every group, every constellation pushing that boundary, moving it forward, saying no to enslavement and yes to empowerment, saying no to profit over people, saying yes to sustainable movements. It's like, come on, we got this. Hey, Matthew. I'm turning 37 at the end of the week, my precious babies. Too perceptive, too honest, and too vocal. Matthew, stick with it. We all eventually will find the people that are meant for us. I remember when you guys I had one of my crying, tearful shares about just like being dicked around by people. One of you was like, you just need someone meant for you or something. There's just gotta be a man designed for you. And I'm like, yeah. And on to the next. You know, what are you gonna do? Just keep learning and growing and keep creating, right? We don't really kind of belong to each other in that way. Hi, Jennifer. Happy birthday, my fellow Aries chica. 33, that is a special number. 33 was the year that I really took this last leap as far as publishing a book and being here and dedicating my life to you guys on YouTube. Where I'm like, why can't we just love each other more? We can. So this is like a really weird insert. I'm just saying, be mindful, you guys. Be discerning with energies that you're listening to and buying into, because I'm getting this sense, and this is from Intel, that more people than what we'd like to imagine are playing sides. They're not in their center. They're playing sides and using tactic. Magic tactic, suggestion, and LLP to make you buy more stuff and forget that you're the creator, not me. So that's it, you guys. I love you so much. I hope you have a beautiful day. I look forward to speaking to you real soon. Yeah. just keep loving, you guys, and keep being the awesome people that you are, because I really res with all of you. Yeah, we have to become the person that can get to meet the soul that resonates most true with her. That's it. That's it. You guys, I really, and Juan, I feel that, like, and I feel like we're right here resonating in this way with other humans on the planet. I think is like the juice of the anchoring in of that grid that we've been visioning for probably the last few years, if not more, if not our whole life, right? Yeah, nice one, you guys. You guys are the bomb. I'm so impressed. I'm so impressed with us. So have